Today, we bring you the final episode of the season for the Creative Being podcast. And I'll admit, I'm feeling a mix of emotions today because it's always bittersweet to wrap up the show, even just for a little while. But before we go, we've got an incredible guest to end the season on a high. Joining me this week is Jessi Brattengeier, the creative director at the New York Times. Jessi is also one half of Jessi, a dual design practice she co-runs with Jessi Johanning, a design director with an impressive background including time at Pioneer Works and Gretel. A graduate of the School of Visual Arts, Jessi's career spans collaborations with iconic brands like J.Crew, Faden, Ford and New Balance. Currently, she juggles her role at the New York Times with exciting side projects, most recently a stunning book for Elizabeth Roberts Architects through Jessi. At the Times, Jessi focuses on internal communications, creating remarkable work like the annual State of the Times. This year's edition was a masterpiece, inspired by the folded newspaper and the printing process. Jessi described it as using a central dimensional paper graphic as the centerpiece for all expressions, an entrance into the day's content. It's a true testament to the creativity possible even within the boundaries of an established brand that's now, 173 years old, is it? But what's fascinating about Jessi's story is the New York Times approach to encouraging its creatives to take on external projects. This culture of exploration brings fresh energy and ideas back to their work at the paper. Today, we'll talk about that philosophy, along with Jessi's insights on pushing creative boundaries, navigating the challenges of internal branding, and building a design culture within one of the world's most prestigious organisations. We'll also touch on her processes, inspirations, and aspirations behind the New York Times, from her take on the importance of colour and collaboration to advice for designers on valuing their work and fostering professional relationships. This conversation is packed with insights for creatives everywhere, and she has some amazing advice for anyone starting out in the industry today. So we are going to be talking a lot today, Jessi, about, side projects, what it's like to work at the New York Times. I mean, I guess any designer who's listening to this, any creative, that's kind of the first searching question I think most would love to ask. What's it like being the creative director of such a renowned global publication?
It is a challenge every day, a new challenge. The New York Times is such an institution, and there's such a solid brand identity that we must adhere to. But it's kind of an amazing challenge because I get to find ways to push an institutional brand like the New York Times, every day, and to define new standards for the Times, new standards of excellence, new ways to think about our brand identity, whether that's events or sonic identity or internal communications or our furniture design. So it's really like there's a lot to work with, and it's kind of amazing that designers love rules, and the New York Times has a lot of rules. So it's amazing to be able to work within, guidelines that are so excellent.
Yeah, definitely. And imagine a great team. And how much kind of creative freedom do you have there? Or is it a case of like staying within some very tight parameters?
I think for my particular role, I have a lot of creative freedom relative to other designers at the Times. When I joined, it was kind of a new role, actually. There wasn't anybody thinking about internal identity or internal communications or branding as it applied to anything internal. And so when I joined, it was kind of like, okay, we really need this. Can someone work on this, please? And so it was defining a whole new world, actually, for our internal brand. So I think because of that, there's a lot more flexibility, and I've been able to really push the brand internally. And also because it's internal, it's a little bit different. It's still high standards because the audiences that I'm creating content for, creating branding for, my team is creating branding for, is the world's best content creators. So the standards are still very high, but it's a little less high stakes because, it's not going out to 10 million subscribers. It's really going out to 6,000 employees. So
yeah, And I can imagine that means you've got more time as well. It's not a case of,
It depends. It's definitely more, it's not a day-to-day sort of newsroom timeline. But we have a lot of stuff that we work on. And I feel like every time we do something new, whether that's, State of the Times, which we really have been pushing every year, or an event for our employee resource groups called Mosaic, which was this really beautiful identity that a designer on my team who focuses primarily on like DEI work developed. Whenever we do something new, leadership loves it and they want more. And because it's a new territory,
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is what it's like to have design resources. This is what we can achieve, which is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But it always just means we're having to sort of reprioritize and think about what's important when it comes to branding and especially when it comes to internal branding.
It's like spinning lots of plates and deciding which one needs the attention right now.
And attention, budget, resources. I mean, it's a few years ago. The first time I did State of the Times was 4 years ago. It's this huge event, 5,000 plus employees tune in. It's one day in the Times Center. It's all of our sort of leaders in our newsroom and our business side come together and talk about the strategy and the future of the New York Times. And previous to my taking it on, we had a pretty simple identity. Like it was just like Cheltenham, word mark on black, and that was pretty much it. And I just was like, there's so much more we could do here. Let's think about bringing in a custom composer. Let's make custom music. Let's think about animation. Let's think about interiors. Let's think about swag. Like, let's make this an event for employees that's worthy of the content of the day. And every year we push it more and more, and every year we get a little bit more budget to do something new. But it sort of sets the standard, and that's something where I think it's like that's really important for us to think about, for a year up to really plan towards, to invest resources in, because that's an opportunity for employees to really get together and feel proud about where they work and feel a sense of sort of community and culture. But other things you're like, I don't really know if it's necessary to think about it, but it's difficult when you have such a high standard of excellence at the time. So everything is important.
I can imagine. Is it a bit like, a detective's office where you just sort of say, right, blank wall, you put sort of something in the middle of that blank wall, and then it's like drawing lines out to all these things. And is that how the process begins? Just something rough and ready?
For State of the Times or for all of the work?
For State of the Times.
Yeah, it's so usually this year is a little bit different because I'm going on maternity leave in March. So
congratulations.
Thank you. So it's a little bit different. I'm starting earlier, but usually I'll come up with a creative direction or a theme that's based off of sort of the cadence, the temperature, I would say, of our journalism that year. I mean, it's difficult because we're living in a very unprecedented time for news. And so it's hard to like come up with a theme or a creative direction that like fully encapsulates, everything that's going on, the mood, right? Sometimes it's a reaction to the news cycle. And sometimes it's reflective of the news cycle and of the future of our company, or some defined strategy that Meredith has told me about, who's the CEO, or something like that. So so I come up with a creative direction, and then I brief whoever we're working on for the animation, and I bring in a composer who I think is right for the project, and I bring in a print designer to help support things. And it's sort of just like a wrangling and curating of a team to develop the identity. And so, yeah.
Is it feeling pretty positive over there at the moment?
I mean, I think I think good. It's a crazy, a crazy time. I really value working at a company that has values, and that sticks to their values, and not everyone's going to be happy with it. But that I feel proud to work there. And especially as a designer, there's so much institutional design knowledge and history and, iconography and innovation that's being done there. And I feel lucky to be able to be a part of the leadership team at the Times, thinking about how to push, this 176-year-old brand. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. It might not be that exactly,
Don't worry.
forward. So, yeah.
Do you, when you get inspiration for your projects, do you sort of delve into the archives a lot?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, there's so much.
is that fun?
It's really fun. And sometimes I actually get to work directly with them. So I worked on this museum project actually with David Dunlap, who's like the New York Times historian. He's been working with the Times for, I don't know, over 40 years, just a very long time. And he knows everything about the Times. And he and Kelly Doe, who's the brand director, who's my boss, curated a museum on the 16th floor. And that was amazing because I got to create this huge print piece that went along with the museum and go through the archive of like our history and subsequently really like the world's history from the first time the New York Times ever sort of like created its first A1 and create this print piece and come up with a digital archive. And so it's like, there's just so much to work with. I mean, sometimes I get to work with it directly. Sometimes it's inspiration. Sometimes it's a foundation to make sure that what I'm creating or my team is creating is meaningful.
Yeah, definitely. And was there anything when you were sort of going through that and chatting with Dave, was it Dave?
David Dunlap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was there anything that stood out from the archive?
There's so much. I think like the history of our typography and sort of the development of our typography over the years is fascinating. I mean, Matthew Carter is still kicking, still helping create typefaces for us, and just seeing how our typography evolved over the century, almost 2 centuries, is fascinating. Seeing how the paper's grid structure evolved, also amazing to see that. The development of our T and the refinement of our wordmark itself, that's sort of reflective of the time, if that makes sense. Like it really evolved and sort of reflected design culture throughout 175 plus years. That was really incredible to see, as well as like, not even from a designer's point of view, but just someone interested in history and culture, just seeing how present the Times has been in all of these really pivotal moments in history and how we've responded or how we've just been a part of it. It's really, yeah, there's just so much there. I mean, I feel very lucky.
You're living the dream. You are very lucky. And you get to do all these different things as well, like you were saying, the interior design and music. I mean, this is fantastic. This is something all graphic designers will be, falling themselves over to do. Do you have a favorite discipline that you tap into when you're doing these big projects?
I mean, I think I approach all of the work at the Times through a brand identity lens, all of the work that I do, even if it's sort of developing a sonic identity or defining our approach to sound across channels or like clarifying universal standards. That's still from like a brand point of view. Even if it's interior design, I think that's branding. So yeah, I think like the discipline I studied, I have a brand identity background, and that's, even though I'm on the brand identity team, but I work sort of on a parallel team called the culture and communications team, which is more than brand identity. It's events, it's culture building through design. I just look at it through brand though. It's all a part of creating a cohesive brand, pushing a brand. It's all a part of how employees feel about where they work. And sometimes it's really subtle. Sometimes it's like, signage in our buildings globally. Sometimes it's a huge event. Sometimes it's, I mean, there's a lot of things, but yeah, it's all brand.
What's the most challenging thing about your job?
It's funny. I feel like I'm answering this question like an interview because it's challenging. It's challenging in a good way. Like I actually like it. It's political. And I don't mean political in the sense that like Democrat, Republican. I just mean that there are a lot of stakeholders. It's a huge institution. A lot of people care. And that's a good thing. Like you have people that are very passionate about what they do. And you have experts across so many different industries who are your partners. And the standards are so high because the audience is that you're creating design for is they're the world's best journalists. And so I think you really have to find a way to it's a challenge in a good way because you have to find a way to make sure that all of your stakeholders understand where you're coming from as a brand designer. A lot of people don't know the difference between product design and brand design, even at the Times. Understand, restraint, understand when to push things, when not, trust you. I mean, I think looping people in at the right time, getting approvals across tiers of hierarchy. It's political in that way. And it's actually something I really like to do. And I think it's like, I figure it out. It's like little, blocks in a puzzle and every day that I hopefully successfully achieve a project or come up with a solution to a problem. I feel like it's one more piece to this puzzle that I'll never fully understand, but
yeah. It's the same in all industries, isn't it? The politics and having to deal with people and lots of different sort of opinions, and it's always a challenge. So I can imagine you're the sort of person who is very kind of gentle in working with people. You sort of softly, but don't underestimate you because you have a way.
Hopefully, yeah. I think it requires a certain amount of extroversion to be able to get things done at a place like the Times.
Would you say you're an extrovert though? Because I'm not.
Yeah, you're not. I am.
No, you are. So you're quite comfortable going around and doing, speaking at, having those difficult chats and.
Yeah, I am. I think. I don't know. I mean, I was raised an only child and I lived in all these different places growing up. So I always had to make new friends. I moved around a lot. And I think that taught me to appreciate relationships and to like be myself and to not apologize for it. And I think, I tell my team this a lot. It was advice that was given to me by a creative director that I had many years ago. And she said, and it's actually kind of contradictory to what I just said, but it's always be the calmest person in the room because people will listen to you. And to me, calmness and confidence is so important, even if it's fake. Even if you're stressed out inside and sweating and shaking and whatever it is, like if you can exude calmness and confidence, that will get you so far, especially with people who aren't designers, who don't understand where you're coming from. If you can articulate yourself, even if it's less is more, if you say less in a way that makes them feel like they trust you, that is everything.
So powerful. And it's such an underestimated quality to have. I always love to sort of figure out who's desperate to say something so that if I get the opportunity to say it, I'll turn to them and look at them and shine all my light on them and say, what do you think, Jessi? And then, you're just everyone's best friend. It's great.
That's true. That's a good way of handling it. I was also told by Kelly, who's the best mentor I've ever had. Her name's Kelly Doe. She's part of the reason why I love working she's part of the reason why I joined the Times and why I've stayed. And she's incredible at knowing when to not speak and knowing when to pause before speaking, to build anticipation and knowing how to phrase things sometimes as questions, so people feel like they're brought along for the process, or that it's collaborative. It's really incredible, actually. So yeah, it's a layer that I didn't have to deal with in my previous design career.
Yeah.
That's actually taught me how to tackle freelance projects, and clients, a range of clients, more successfully. I think I've learned a lot from the times.
They're so important, those soft skills that we really don't get just, naturally. You just get them by sitting in that room, don't you? Around that board table and watching and observing and learning from people who've been doing it longer than we have. And it's so good when you realize you're starting to, become that way as well early on in your career, and you just keep improving, keep growing. And I find that the most. I agree with you. I think I enjoy working with people the most as well. It doesn't matter what you do. If you can be in a room and collaborate with people and listen and create something great out of it, that's just so satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that's you said listening. That's an important thing too. I think you learn a lot from listening, and a lot of people don't listen. They have something that they're going to say in their head, and then they say it without it actually being a dialogue. And I think you're right. It is, I mean, design is ultimately a function for people. Like it is for the betterment of society. It is for the function. It is for the improvement of how people live. Like, how brands are run by people. And so I think like to think about branding as to think about it through the lens of relationship building, I think is really helpful.
It's all about the people. That's where the magic is. You clearly love your job. It's really lovely to hear that. You also were telling me that you have all these side projects, and actually the New York Times encourages that, which is just so refreshing. I know a lot of places do that now more than ever, but they used to call it moonlighting back in the day, didn't they? But actually it's not a faux pas anymore.
Yeah, I think it's my boss. I think Kelly is supportive of it. She also, did that throughout most of her career at the Times. So she was working on cultural projects for major cultural institutions outside of the Times, and books, and just like I think she sees and I see, which is great, the value of working across different mediums, working across different industries, and meeting different types of people, and then hopefully bringing that back to the Times. Like I think it's only beneficial, I think, for designers to work on as many things as possible and get their hands dirty and try new things and meet new people. And I think it's strange to me that it's something that is as newly accepted, because to me it just makes designers better.
Yeah. So put yourself out of your comfort zone, try new things, have the freedom to experiment. And then, that can only sort of improve your skills. I'm just basically repeating what you just said, but you know what?
Yes.
Exactly. I love the book you recently completed. I think it was just last month. It was a book about architecture. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So actually I have a few different side collaboratives, I guess, or studios. The main one is a studio that I started with my friend Jessi, who I've known for many years. I worked with him at a design firm called Sub Rosa. It was a brand identity firm 10 years ago. At the height of its power, it was really the place to be for brand designers. Met him there, have been working with him since. And so our studio is called Jessi, and we take on a lot of cultural projects, including book designs. And so this one was for my friend Elizabeth Roberts. So she's an architect based out of Brooklyn, and has a really fantastic practice, and is just a brilliant woman, and fade on, and Monticelli reached out to her and said they wanted to design her first monograph. And that's a relationship I had built. I worked on her brand identity for her studio many years ago. And so that's a relationship I built with her, and we became friends. And she was like, I really want you to work on this. And I was like, I really want Jessi to work on this with me because he's a fantastic book designer. And so that was really one of the first projects that solidified our studio. And that was amazing. Monticelli and Phaidon, they went for it. Like we had tip-ins, we had spot color, copper spot color. The cover is sort of like this interesting sort of like debossed experience where like the linen is the background wall. Like it's really pretty high budget for a mass production book. But it was really fun to work on that. And to work with architects. I love working with architects. I think it's sort of my, I don't know. I think I understand them and they understand me. So I think it's.
Is it because of the rules, the grid systems, are they quite sort of within a certain framework, or are they kind of more free and open to ideas?
Well, every architecture practice is different. I'm working with my husband right now. He's an architect on another project, actually, for a restaurant on Mott Street that's opening next year with an X11 Madison chef, actually. So their practice his practice is very different. Elizabeth is very different. I think it's the fact that they come at design very differently than graphic designers, but appreciate, respect, try to understand graphic design, grid systems, like you said. Yeah, exactly. Composition, white space, balance, typography even. Like I think like typography and typology is a really interesting thing to discuss, like the relationship between typographic forms and typography and architecture. So yeah, it's like finding, I don't know how to say it. It's like we're twins in a way. We're like opposite twins, architects and graphic designers, I think.
Dream clients. Gosh, your husband is an architect. How long did it take for you both to choose your door number?
There aren't a lot of options. Like I wish I should have created something custom, actually, now that you're bringing that up. We chose the Neutra, the classic Neutra. We live in a mid-century house. And so we were like, let's just stick to the sort of classic.
Yeah, thank God. You'd have been arguing for months.
Oh my God. Even like the house is an amazing project. It's one of my other personal projects that I love working on. And so, yeah. Yeah,
I can imagine. I was stalking you a little bit on Instagram earlier and I spotted that you were in Copenhagen over the summer. Beautiful spot to go to if you're very much into design, particularly interior design. It's just a fantastic city, isn't it?
It's one of my favorite. In the summer, I think Copenhagen is the best city in the summer.
Oh, God,
in the world. Like I think it comes alive in a way that is incredible, right? Like you're just like in the summer, like everyone's biking, everyone's picnicking, everyone's like bathing nude by the canals. Like it's just this. It's
they're
like
on
this
boats nude.
Yeah, it's like it's incredible, and the food.
Amazing.
It's a very inspirational place. Yeah.
Did you go to that lovely restaurant that does the open, like really posh open sandwiches? It was down a little basement. I can't remember the name of it, but oh my goodness me. I've never paid so much for sandwiches.
I definitely had those for sure. I forget what they're called.
Is it Schmalborg?
Yes,
Schmalborg?
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Wow, where did that come from? I'm going through the perimenopause. I'm like, what? Brain, you worked. Wow, congratulations.
That was good.
Yeah, I love Copenhagen. It is gorgeous. And it's so nice that you get to sort of do all these extra projects on the side. And I suppose as a designer, when you go on those breaks, can you sort of switch off, or is your brain always going, oh, that's inspirational. I must remember this.
Yeah, I have a hard time switching off my designer brain. I think, no, we were in Copenhagen, we had just won the project. Jessi and I had won the Mott Street project, which is the restaurant, and there's a cafe. And so I was, of course, as we were dining out and eating at all these places, I was looking at the identities, taking business cards, taking photos of colors. Like, I think that's, and And then, you know, obviously the Design Museum in Copenhagen is really inspirational.
Oh, it's amazing.
So no, and it never turns off. I think that's okay though. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be a problem if I didn't demand a healthy work-life balance for myself. I demand it. And I never used to, but after 4.5 years at the Times and burning out my first couple of years and
Oh, really?
taking on so much extra freelance work and thinking I had to do it all at once, I just was like, this isn't healthy. Like I'm not growing in the way that makes me feel stable. So I demand it. And so because I demand it, I can always be thinking about design and not feel like overwhelmed or that I'm not, you know, or that I don't have a life or whatever.
Yeah, same. I mean, what was the turning point then? When did you realize you were doing too much?
There was a point. So I was hired at the Times as a new role. I didn't have a team. I built my team. I built the practice of internal design actually at the Times the past 4 years. So now I have a great team. But when I started, it was just me.
Wow.
And I, you know, and it was just a lot. Like it was just so much. And I was working super late nights and I was just exhausted all the time. And I was feel so pressured to create the best work I possibly could because it was this new role at the Times. And I really had to like prove myself and all these things. Like the pressure was really high. I interviewed for a very long time for it as well. And I think I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I was like, I need to figure something else out. Like it was, I think the turning point that might have been the first State of the Times I did where I didn't have a team, where it was just me, fully.
And so did you sort of go to your manager, to your boss? Did you say, look, I need help. I can't do this on my own anymore. That takes a lot. That takes a lot though.
I did. And thankfully I have two bosses actually. I have Kelly Doe, she's the head of brand identity at the Times, and then Sinera Charles Pierre, and she's the head of culture and communications. She's an SVP. And both of them, I have great relationships with them. And I think they both saw me burning out. You know, and I was able to really communicate with them. I don't feel great. Like, you know, there was one point I even broke down. Like I cried.
Oh my goodness. I would have done. God.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, and I never thought I would cry in front of a boss. But it's okay because it goes back to building trust. Like they were seeing me vulnerable and I felt like I could trust them and I, you know, everybody's human. And so I think what it did is it allowed me to be myself, for them to see the situation I was in and to do something about it. But it also was a turning point for me, for my team. Like I will never let that happen to anybody on my team. Art director, designer, freelancer, myself. Like it's just not something I'll put up with anymore. And I think that they know that too. So,
well, you're not going to be any good to anyone if you're, you know, lying on the floor crying. That's what, you know.
No.
We've all been there though, haven't we? If we're successful people, I think we do go through that phase where we run ourselves into the ground and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. It's not necessarily coming from anybody else, because we want to do a really good job and there's nothing wrong with that. But there comes a point where you're like, come on, something has to give. So how many are on your team now, Jessi?
Yeah, it's myself. I have an art director who's fantastic. I have a full-time designer and then a freelance designer. And she's outside of Berlin, but works crazy hours. Like she's like a night owl. She's like up at like 1 a.m., you know, working on stuff. So,
bless her.
So yeah, so it's four of us, sometimes three. And it really, like, we need it. There's a lot of work that's, you know, that we're working on.
And it's exclusively all your internal stuff, you know, never mind
It's mostly internal. We're we're redesigning our external site right now. Not nyt.com, but our company site. There's some external things like our ongoing sort of commitment to independence and externalizing how we think about that. But but it's a lot of it is internal. A lot of it's culture building work. And actually it's great because I get to work on design culture building too. So I'm a part of a group of design leaders that think about building design culture at the times. And
Do you
sort
mind
of,
me asking what that means?
yeah. So for example, I have met a bunch of designers at the times over my 4.5 years. Every single one I've met, art directors, creative directors, designers, expresses the similar challenge of feeling like they're in a silo. Like they don't know what other departments are working on. They don't know who's in which department. There are so many shared resources and challenges that could be of use to designers at the times. There's also a morale thing for designers. Designers don't feel appreciated as much because it's a written word company, ultimately. And
You just do pretty pictures, don't you? That's it. You just draw.
That's it.
It's nothing to it.
Just illustration. That's all that we do. No, it's just it's just the nature of where we work, and we have so many talented, brilliant designers that are working for the Times that don't always feel valued or don't always feel connected to the larger community of designers at the Times. So for example, I'm trying to create like even just something as simple as like a cocktail hour, for all designers to get together, and maybe we share work, maybe we talk about challenges. There's design town halls that we host where we bring in design speakers. There's a design speaker series that I help to organize and help to design for. So there's. Hopefully we're working on something called a brand site, which will be sort of like a digital home for design standards for designers at the time. So they feel like when they're joining, they understand about the breadth of design at the time. So yeah, it's all sort of about that.
So you're kind of creating a community in a way.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That is fantastic. It suits you down to the ground, doesn't it? Because it gets everybody together. You get to sort of have a nice chat with everyone and make new contacts and then get a feel for the land in front of you and just share what's going on. It's crazy that the New York Times is having to sort of establish that. You just always assume that these amazing institutions have it all figured out.
I think the New York Times prioritizes our journalism, which is good. Like that's important. It's what drives. It's the heart of our company, and I think that's all great. There are other people that work at the Times that contribute to the Times, and so I think. It's just an ongoing sort of like balance of understanding the importance of our newsroom and our journalism and prioritizing our commitment to independence and prioritizing all of that. And then also just understanding that there are a lot of people in the background that are working to make things look beautiful, function well, just like work on your phone, like the app works on your phone, right? Like you can like it's as well as sort of the sort of subconscious feelings about the Times to continue to reiterate our excellence as a brand, and that supports our journalism. So.
Yeah. Do you really get into behavioral design as well and have?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's all very interesting. And thankfully for me, I'm less involved in that because there's a lot of testing involved in that world, and I don't necessarily have the patience for just ongoing testing of things. I would much prefer to try things out and see if it works, and then go from there. So
it's a dark art, isn't it? Just all these kind of like, if we design the button like this, it might encourage people to click on that more, or it's like, woof.
Yeah, it is a dark art. It's a complicated world. And it's product design is so different than brand design. And I'm continually impressed by our product designers at the Times, because I don't think like that. So
it's really frustrating when you talk to a very talented person such as yourself working somewhere, because what I always want to know is what's next. But obviously you can't say that, can you? Because you're working for the New York Times. But have you got any dreams in future of like doing something else, something different?
I mean, I think I would love, and I'm already arriving here, but I would love to have a practice outside of the Times that is exactly what I want to be doing, outside of the Times. So book designs, so hotel brands, so restaurant identities, like culture and hospitality. I really love that world. And working towards that by building relationships, back to the people thing, building relationships with clients and people that I know are going to get me that work and are going to be there in my corner when I want to work on something.
It's always about thinking about the next step, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. You work on a project outside of the Times or outside of your whatever, you work on a project in general, you meet somebody and you're like, oh, this is not the kind of person I want to work with, or this is, and I'm going to remember them and I'm going to reach out to them and see if they have more work, or I'm going to, leave a very good impression and so they can reach back out to me. I mean, I think Jessi and I had a really great experience working with Elizabeth's book, and now we could potentially be designing, Jessi is designing another book actually for Phaedon. And we could potentially be designing Rachel Comey's book next year. So it's just really, that's, I don't know if I answered your question, but I think
you did. Absolutely. It's good to know, because there'll be people listening to this who, it seems so obvious, but actually they might not have thought about it because they're really busy and they're busy in their job and they're not thinking about the next step. But yeah, it's so important to build those relationships because you never know where they're going to end up. How do you stay friends with people then when you're doing projects? Because does that get a bit complicated, or have you found a nice sort of balance?
I've never had a project that's, maybe I'm lucky. I've never had a project that's sort of destroyed a friendship before. Jessi and I have worked together for a very long time. My husband and I obviously have a good working relationship. And other designers that I've worked with that are also my friends, it's never been a problem. I'm part of a group called Yumi as well, which is a design collaborative. And I think it's all that we just want to make the best work possible, and we respect each other. And as far as clients go, I've actually made a lot of friends through clients over the years. I mean, one of the most important projects, I want to mention this because it's really important in my sort of understanding of holistic design and relationship building and all these things, is this project Massacon that I worked on at Sub Rosa many years ago. It's a winemaker, a wine brand and a winemaker in California with roots in Italy, in Massico, Italy. And the project was to design the packaging, to come up with a new identity, but much more than that, really, to partner with Dan Petrosky, who's the owner of Massacon, in visually articulating a vision for Massacon, a lifestyle. It's really and this is a decade ago, but it was lifestyle brand for wine. And that was amazing because he allowed me to spend time researching color, researching Massico blue, a sort of a faded sort of, color found on frescoes in Massico in Italy, and to research a color for a month and to come up with a color. And then he loved it so much, he reached out to the Harvard Color Library, and, now it's a color in the Harvard Color Library, Massacon blue. And then he was like, okay, how else can we think about the brand? Now that we have this color, we have packaging, is it sound? Is it playlists that we create? And we collaborate with different, DJs and composers and whatever it is, in interesting people. And this was at a time when a lot of brands weren't really doing that. Now a lot of brands are, obviously. But yeah, it was he was the first person, one of the first clients I ever had, where I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. He gets it. He believes in it. He is investing in it and has a vision. and we became friends. And, you know, I even invited him to give a talk at the New York Times last year, actually.
That's so inspiring. And I suppose you got to go to Italy as well and see.
No, I actually didn't.
Come
It was,
on.
I mean, I have been, I did
Yes, of
since
course.
then, but it was a lot of like archival research, actually, which is really important in my practice generally. But yeah.
Oh, amazing. Just to be given that kind of, goal, just off you go and enjoy and immerse yourself. And here's the time that you need. And wow, it doesn't happen that often, does it?
It does not.
No.
But it goes to show you, like, I mean, that color, that label is being used. They haven't changed it really. So it's sort of when you invest in research and meaning for a brand, it saves ultimately the clients more money because you don't have to refresh it every 4 years. It's a timeless thing, you know? And I think he understood that. So.
And then look at them now.
Exactly.
Well, thanks to you. Well, it is really fascinating to talk about colour. Do you have like much scope to use that at the time? So
Depends on the project. I think it's for an event, we definitely do lean into color. I think for me, color always has to have meaning. And I think that's for everything we do at the Times, but specifically color, I think it's so subjective. It can be really arbitrarily decided upon. And I think really assigning it meaning helps it to get approved, helps it to feel timeless, helps it to have purpose, function, you know, be systematic, evoke a feeling that's not just my personal preferences, but that is perfect for the project itself. So I'm thinking of, there was a project that we just recently did, which actually haven't published yet. It's called Mosaic. And it's the first ever event for our employee resource groups. So we have employee resource groups, you know, there's Black at NYT, there's the Arab Network, there's the groups for DEI groups and employee resource groups for the company. And we created the first ever event about a couple months ago, where we brought over 100 leaders from around the world of these groups together to talk about the future of ERGs, the future of communities at the Times. And for that, like the name of the event was Mosaic. So there's that obvious visual, motif that we could play into.
So playful.
Yes, it was really playful, but then it was like, okay, color, like it has to have meaning here. And each ERG, something I worked on when I first started at the Times was assigning a color to an ERG and having them really own a color as their identity across all of their channels and everything they do. So we had this foundational color palette. Each color has meaning associated with an ERG or community group. There are over probably 20. We had that. We had the idea of Mosaic. We had like the sort of functional need for the event and created this identity, which used color as a way to communicate this idea of everybody coming together, different ERG groups with their each independent color palettes coming together to form a mosaic. Wow. And to make decisions about the future of community groups at the Times. And so and there was texture, the designer that worked on it hand scanned everything and made hand animations. And it was very tactile, which was really representative of the event, which was people coming physically in person. And so it was, so yes, color, yes, has to have a purpose.
It does. And there's a certain brand that does a colour of the year every year, and they're announcing it this month. And by the time this episode comes out, it will have been announced. And we won't mention the name of this brand, but I find it quite interesting. Do you have when you sort of think in colour, do you think each year represents a different colour? Do you agree with that? And if so, what would be the colour for 2025? You knew this was coming.
It's an interesting. So they were a client of ours at the studio that I was at. like a decade ago. We've worked on campaigns with unnamed
well,
brands.
we can say Pantone.
Yes, Pantone, yeah. So they were a client at Sabrosa many years ago. And we worked on campaigns for their Color of the Year project. And what I loved about the campaigns was that they captured a world of color.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting idea.
It's the concept, isn't it?
The concept. I have a difficult time saying yes, like, I don't even know, like chocolate brown or, whatever it is, like caramel is the color of the year. But I think when you create a world around it, it feels more intriguing to me.
It makes more sense. There's something more there that then you understand, because it's all based on research, isn't it? And what the current mood of the world is.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I really disagree with their colors. I'm like, this is a strange
I'd love that.
choice.
We'll go, and here we're going live to Jessi from the New York Times. Jessi, what is the verdict? It's rubbish. Don't speak to me.
I guess the thing is that I sometimes feel like with color, sometimes I just prefer black and white. Like I think that it's just what it is sometimes people use color as a crutch. Versus as part of a system, which isn't really saying Pantone does that. It's very different. Sometimes I think that if you can make a brand successful in black and white, that's the challenge.
That is a challenge. What are your thoughts? I'm drawing you into this very, and it's probably old news now, but what are your thoughts on Jaguar?
I don't know. People love to hate, don't they? I think it doesn't, if what they're trying to achieve is a sense of modernism, it doesn't feel like that. Right. I don't really know what they're trying, like if they're going to go EV soon and they're trying to achieve a sense of, then maybe. I mean, I think that there are certain letter forms that are terribly ugly in my subjective opinion. But it all goes back to, there was so much work put towards that, I'm sure. Yes. So much research, so much thought, so many designers. And I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, I think it's terrible because my taste or whatever. If it achieves what they want to achieve, great. I guess we'll see. Exactly.
Is it important for you for people to like your work?
Yeah. It is. And I'm only now starting to put it out there in the world, actually. Previously I hadn't reached out to Creative Boom or to Brand Identity or to It's Nice That. Sometimes they
I like that we came first then.
Got you. But now that I've started this studio with Jessi, it's important. And so I guess, yes and no. Previously, no. I was doing work that I felt proud of, or that the client really loved, or that stood the test of time. And sometimes clients totally destroy identities, and you're like, oh man, I can't even believe I worked on that, and that they didn't respect it at all, and it didn't serve its purpose. And sometimes they surprise you. Like there's a project I worked on, Paravel was one where they really took it and they ran with it. Like it was an identity Jessi and I created, almost a decade ago. And they did beautiful campaigns built off of a brand that Jessi and I created. Manas is another. It's a female-led group for women, actually, globally, based in Mexico City. And that was one where they've really taken the creative direction, and they've just surpassed my expectations of what the brand could be. So for me, it's is the client using the brand well? Is it out there in the world looking good? Sometimes it really doesn't. And then does the design community like it, I guess, which
that comes last.
It does.
We can sort of sidestep that out the way.
Yeah, I don't know. It does come last, right? Same with Jaguar. It's is it doing its job? I mean, if it is, good for them.
Exactly. It doesn't matter really, does it? But it's always interesting to see what the design industry has to say about various things.
It is.
I just sort of write about it, sit back and go, oh, let's see what they have to say about this. Always fascinating, always interesting. Yeah. Everybody's got a different take. You learn a lot from those big brand.
You do.
news stories. So
You do.
it's 2025. You know, you're the last guest. Not, you know, we saved the best for last. Of course we did. You know,
Thank you.
In our season, we're just sort of approaching the holiday season. 2025 is just there on the horizon. What are you excited about apart from the obvious thing?
Yes. Yeah. It's hard. That's taken over my life. I'm excited for a bunch of projects that are going to come out next year with Jessi and I. We're working on a hotel in San Antonio that's got so much history. It's a hotel that was built in the 60s, and it's on the Riverwalk, and it's inspired by Burle Marx and Brazilian modernism. Like the hotel was built by a Brazilian modernist architect. And and they're restoring it. They're maintaining a lot of the vibes and architecture of its sort of heyday in the 60s on the Riverwalk. And so there's so much incredible stuff there, like Brazilian modernism, music, there's art, there's architecture, there's Burle Marx, who's a landscape architect who is highly inspirational for our work. Anyways, it's this massive hotel. There's the Mott Street restaurant, that's going to open. There's another book that we're working on. So a lot of really fun cultural projects that I get to work on that I am just so thankful to be able to be a part of. I'm excited I'm excited to take maternity leave and to also give people on my team, designers on my team, the room to grow and to try things out for themselves and to take chances and gain confidence. That's important. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely seeing you light up talking about your projects, and you clearly love what you do. You've got a really exciting 2025. And I love that you say that you hope other people who work with you get to sort of, you know, become better designers too. And anybody listening to this who's just starting out in their career or hoping to improve themselves will have no doubt been inspired by your passion and your just energy. What would you... Yeah, well, you know, I'm gushing a little bit, but it's true. It's really nice to see. What would you say to them then? Like, to have the same kind of passion and creativity that you have, what do you see consistently in younger designers that not necessarily frustrates you, but you wish they could learn? Maybe even like when you look back at yourself in your early years of your career, like what would you say to them? Like shake them by the shoulders and say, for God's sake.
I think a few things. Don't undervalue yourself. I think I have learned the hard way, I will say. And well, I'll tell this really quick anecdote, very, very brief. There was a project I worked on 5 years ago or whatever. I scoped myself way too low. And I love the client. The client CC'd me on an email on accident with their board and said, we got this, brilliant creative director to work on this project at this rate, significantly lower than everybody else. And we're so lucky, we're so excited. And I was like so angry when I first got that. And I love this client, she's lovely. I was so angry about it because I was like, I can't believe I did that. Wow, I'm such an idiot. I really could have made so much more money, whatever. But, after the years have passed, I've realized that was one of the biggest blessings in my career because I realized, I can charge more. I deserve this. I'm going to at least try,
Yeah.
And I think value myself at what I deserve. And if people don't agree that I deserve that, maybe that I shouldn't be working with them.
Exactly.
And it was like, so I think don't undervalue yourself. And the other one I think is find ways to profit from things you're good at and inspired by. So if you're really into music and you want to deliver that as a part of your scope when you're working on a project, you just, even if you don't want to profit off of it, even if you just want to use that as a way to sell a brand, think about that. Make mixes. The clients will love that. They'll find it so creative, and it will also help to sell a world that you're creating, a brand that you're creating. I think be experimental, pitch ideas that are pretty wild, and see if the client will buy into it. So with the book, for example, with Elizabeth Roberts, we were like, we want to do copper spot, tip-ins, all these things. And they were like, okay. I think it's just like, just try it and see if the client's down. And if they are, that's great. If they're not, okay, find another solution. So.
Brilliant. Think of all the possibilities. Well, thank you so much, Jessi, for inviting us into your design world today.
Thank you, Katie.
And I really hope 2025 is fantastic for you.
Thank you. You as well. I really appreciate it.
That was Jessi Brattengeier, creative director at the New York Times and co-founder of Jessi. You couldn't see her, but it was so fun watching her waving her arms around and getting super passionate and, really lighting up when I talked to her about some of the projects she's been working on. She has so much passion for what she does. I was really quite envious. And I did say to her afterwards, my goodness, I would love to invite myself along to a dinner party at your place in Brooklyn and come and meet you and all of your creative friends. It would just be amazing. I would sit there quietly in the corner listening to everyone, observing, because I love that remark actually about quiet confidence, about being the calmest person in the room, and how that really is quite a powerful thing, because you can sort of really observe and sit back, can't you, when you're not the one talking. And then her advice about knowing your value, it's so true, but it's something that we forget on a regular basis. It's a lesson we all have to learn, but one that we have to keep remembering. We have to know that we're worth it and that we must always protect our integrity and our value, and even know when to say no. It was really interesting to talk to Jessi today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Up next, we don't have the Spark for you this Thursday. Instead, we have our Christmas special featuring lots of former guests from the Creative Being podcast. It's just a nice way to round off the year, have a little fun, and help us all get into the spirit of the festive holidays. So we'll see you then. But for now, thank you for all your support this year. We've recorded 40 odd episodes, I think, in total, built up to 25,000 subscribers, and we hit over 1 million downloads before 2024 even got started. It's been the usual mix of emerging and established names from all over the world, across art, graphic design, illustration, photography, animation, and we've covered a whole host of themes, from ditching social media to diversity in the industry, from healthy backs to staying lean as a design studio, from the art of reinvention to AI, filmmaking, and even designing Oasis. It's been quite the adventure. Thank you so much for all your lovely emails too. It really does help. Thank you. Until Thursday, have a great week.